Hello, my name is Alexey Shiroky. I am the product manager for Pims R4 cost management system. Allow me to introduce you to our great product. Now we need to time phase our estimate. So there are basically three ways in Pims to time phase your cost. One is involving using the standard profiles, which is a very easy approach, especially in the beginning of the project when you're establishing a very first baseline and you might not have a very detailed explanation of how your cost needs to be phased. Then you can use, based on the activity for the control accounts, for the work packages, you can assign specific standard profiles to be used, set the start and finish dates, and basically click the button and the cost allocated to the work package will be time phased through that timeline according to the profile selected. To time phase the cost, we need to use the cost time phasing application. Here we will be able to see our work packages. The WBS tree is for the filtering purposes, so if I just want to go for the CS1, I can easily filter that and just see that cost. Pims has built-in verification mechanism that will allow you and provide you with some tooltips. So for example, this one says forecast time phasing is not correct. These built-in verifications working very fast and check your data for consistency. This one basically means that I have an estimate, but I haven't time phased it yet. So that makes sure before I approve a baseline that my estimate is fully phased. I will show you an example on one work package first, and then show you how easy it is to do the bulk updates as well. For these work packages, I have used different profiles. For management, I've used the even strict distribution, engineering profile for engineering, the front end for the equipment on bulk or procurement. Construction, I use the typical construction profile, and the even profile for pre-commissioning. As you can see, I have also set the start and finish dates. These dates can be fetched from the plans for your project. Of course, it's important that the dates can be summarized into the work package level. So you can have, of course, on your project planning, you can have much lower detail, but it needs to be mapped into the cost system for the work package level. That's also an important factor when deciding on the WBS structure and the levels to be used, in order to easily map your progress later into your WBS reporting structure. So in here, I would now use the even strict distribution, and I would just time phase that cost, phase according to profile for the current work package. As you can see, my cost was phased between the start and finish dates. I can also view the periodic data, and here it is. I will show now you the engineering profile, which is different from the one used above. As you can see, the costs have been time phased according to the engineering profile. I also can run this function on a specific WBS. In this case, I will go for the CS1 and just time phase all those costs. As you can see now, Pims marked this as a completed action, meaning that I don't have any discrepancy for the costs. But on the other WBSs, I might still have those. If standard profiles are set and the dates are constantly updated on a monthly basis or for your baseline update procedure, you can just phase according to the profile and say all work packages. As you can see, we now updated the phasing for our work packages. This is one way. Another way is time phasing it manually. So to time phase manually, you would need to select the work package, click on the show phasing data, and just update it from top to bottom. In cumulative values, update your phasing information in here. That's not a very convenient way. It is convenient for quick adjustments after, for example, you time phased your work package according to the profile and then slightly adjust it manually. A typical way you would want to use is to be able to import your time phasing cost, typically spread from left to right in your Excel files, and import in a bulk update for your project. That you can do on a daily basis or on a monthly basis, preparing your forecast for the reporting or preparing your baseline time phasing as well. I will now demonstrate you what tool we have for that. So typical phasing models would look something like this. You have your time phasing of the cost from left to right, sometimes in periodic values, sometimes in cumulative. It cannot be mixed within one file. You will have a starting period. I will copy this information. I will come back to here, click on import time phasing. I will specify the February month, periodic values, that my first column contains a work package ID, and I'm doing it from the clipboard. Click on continue. So what this tool have done in the background, that it verified all the data and it said that 49 packages can be imported now into Pims. As you could see, I had much more lines in there, but Pims summarized those lines and made sure they correspond to the work packages we have in the system. So I can now click on the import data and my input is updated that quickly. As you can see, I'm having now some errors because I've imported some more costs into the phased value and I have only so much in the estimate. If as a cost engineer I say that this is the right cost, I can also easily update my estimate based on the spread. If I now click in the estimate register, I can see that my Pims adjustment to phasing of the forecast at specific cutoff date has been done. It is important if you are using the manual import and manual time phasing to set the standard profiles to manual. Otherwise, if somebody else runs the phase according to the profile, will override your imported phasing. So I will now go back and time phase according to the profile. I will also go into the estimate here and delete this adjustment line to get back to the value I used to have. And that's it. Now I have all my costs time phased. I can also see that I have some discrepancy, meaning that I have somewhere an estimate and my phasing is not there. In order to summarize our costs, we can use the pivot reports tool. There are built-in pivot reports available in the system, so I will use the estimate by WBS WP. So what I want to do is I want to find out where I have a discrepancy between the time phase cost and the estimate. So as you can see here, I already right away see the discrepancy that I have an estimate forecasted here of 2.2 billion while I have the time phase cost of 2.3 billion imported. And that happened because I was importing some manual time phasing into the WBS. So I can now go back to be, I don't have any estimate here, so we'll go back to the cost time phasing. And I can find this error message here. So what I would need to do is you can use the fill down capability. So I will fill down the 0 value, and same for this one. I will fill down the 0 cumulative value to the end of the work package. Now, if I refresh my pivot, I almost have the values aligned. So still somewhere I have a discrepancy, and that's happening on this level. So management HQ, and I can drill down into the work packages and find that this is an A04 workforce package. So in my cost time phasing, I can search for the workforce. Oh, this is just management HQ. This is just WBS is here. And in here, that's where I have the incorrect value. So I will also use the same approach and just fill down the 0 value. Another way is I could use the import tool to just import the 0. Let's try now. And finally, I have the values aligned, meaning that my estimate was time phased. What we're still missing is the contingency levels, and typically that involves another process on the project when establishing a baseline. So in order to establish your contingency levels, you can either just, of course, populate your estimate into contingency packages, or you can use our contingency management tool to populate the estimate based on the percentage of the remaining estimate or based on the risks assigned. I will demonstrate you an easy way of just basing it on the percentage of the estimate we have. In order for Pims to know what the contingency packages are, you can go to the WBS application and mark the contingency packages with the contingency flag. So I will now go to the Contingency Management application, where Pims identifies these 3 work packages I need to build the estimate for. I don't have any estimate, and I don't have a planned drill down contingency curve. So I can use the update contingency estimate based on the remaining forecast, because I don't yet have the current control estimate. And here I will say 10% of the remaining estimate will go to construction contingency. As you can see, Pims created a value of 226 million into the estimate register. I can also populate some operation contingency. And management contingency. Now, if I come back to the cost estimates and search for my contingency levels, I can see that I have 384 million of contingency. It is also possible to see it via the summary information in the chart here. That's my contingency, and that's my base estimate. So after we have done the time phasing of the estimate, we need to approve the baseline and basically activate the baseline. This is happening in Pims through the function called activate changes, and I will demonstrate how easy it is to approve a baseline now when we have all our estimate time phased. But before that, let me just double check again that my time phasing matches my estimate. Again, I can use a pivot from an estimates application and I can see that I have in the estimate a contingency of 384 million, but I haven't phased it yet. So I will go back to the time phasing application. I would be able to recognize it here as well. I have a start and finish days defined, and I have some standard profiles set. I would probably need to change them to contingency. And as I do that, Pims automatically updates the time phasing for me using the kind of end-loaded profile, as you can see here. If you would update the dates, that will also automatically update your phasing as well. So if I want to push this slightly forward, I will use from September, and now my time phasing is updated and my costs are started to be phased from September onwards. Again, just a quick check. Full estimate time phased. Now I am ready to put that into my baseline. You can do it from a cost estimates application via the Activate CCE button, or from a cost time phasing application via the time phasing Activate CCE. So let me show you how the forecast will now be aligned with the CCE, with the current control estimate, basically transferring our forecast picture into the CCE. I would do it for all packages. And now I have both of them aligned. I can also go to my pivots and reload the data. As you can see, I have a zero deviation between my forecast and my current baseline. If I would start already to modify some of the data in here, let's say increasing my estimate and time phasing it, I would be able to recognize the deviation in the pivots or in the other reports as well. So there are also other reports available in the system for you to be able to populate the cost curves reports, the progress reports, the cost estimate reports, etc. We have a basic set of reports configured for the cost overview page. Here you can see a list of reports available, but that can be extended. Also, we have an ability to set the reports menu for each application. Like in this example here, cost estimates, you can have specific reports in regards to the cost estimate to be populated right away from here. So let me load the Gantt chart by work package, which will show us a summary of the work packages, our WBS structure, with the start and finish days, without any estimate value. Pims populates a PDF file. If you would want to have a logo, that can be uploaded to your project, and that will be visible on all of the reports you're populating. Now I will run the categorized estimate by WBS or by work package. In this case, I will run it by work package. I can also provide specific filter if I want to filter on a report specific WBS, but in this case I will just go with an empty filter. And here I'm having a summary of my estimate categorized. This is the categories used in our estimate register. As you can see, I have contingency category in here of the 384 million, and the rest is an estimate. If I would split my estimate into different categories, into what's growth, what's risks, what's changes, that will be also summarized in here, as well as in the pivots. You can drill down into the types of costs in here and start analyzing that, how it's different from your MCE estimate versus your forecast estimate. I will also run a couple of other repos to show you which information we have, as well as on the dashboards on the cost overview pages. Now we can see our time phasing curves are aligned because we just activated our forecast into our current control estimate. I didn't phase any progress yet on my project, so it's all just cost. And we can run, for example, a report cost curves. As you can see, the report is populated for every level. I can have it level 1, and it drills down into level 2, and so on. You can also limit with the filter which levels you wish to load before populating a report. Another way is, of course, to analyze via the pivots, as I mentioned, but the pivots reporting module is explained in my other video on our channel. And this is basically it. This is how easy you can set up, configure a project within a Pims cost management product, establish your WBS, populate your estimate, time phase the estimate, and approve the baseline. From there, you are then ready to report your cost and progress and analyze your data and focus on the forecasting. Please follow our channel for more videos on the Pims cost management product as well as other products. I will be explaining in other videos how to do a rebaseline, how to do a reporting cycle, involving also updating your contracts register and commitment information in the contracts management module. We will also be covering the personnel module and the change management process. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day.